Welcome everyone, my name is Fist Truck. First, let's get the news out of the way. Holy hell, they're adding the Coliseum stuff to Elden Ring, which is awesome because in a previous video, I think I said something like, located in front of this gigantic missed opportunity located over in New Jersey. And the best part about it is that it's all PvP stuff, which means I don't care about it, but if you do, have fun. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's move on to the actual subject of this video. Several weeks ago, I uploaded a video called How to Katana in Elden Ring. Somewhere in the comment section, someone has said that I should do a halberd build video where it's nothing too special and doesn't have any fancy ashes of war. Well, to that person, I'm gonna say that this video is a complete abject failure of trying to achieve that goal. However, I will address that specific kind of build much later in the video. Nonetheless, my first playthrough this game, I used a halberd build. It was really fun. I liked it, and I figured this video would be a nice excuse to show off that build and probably show off something a little fancier alongside it and along with a plain one. But once again, time on screen if you want to hear what I have to say about that build. Anywho, with all that stuff out of the way, once again, my name is Fist Truck, and today I will show you how to halberd in Elden Ring. I normally come up with these on the spot and I can't think of anything good right now, but if you like the video, please hit the subscribe button. Obviously, wait until you get to the end of the video if you're new here, because I wouldn't expect you to just hit the subscribe button immediately. That would be weird. Not that I would complain if you did though, just saying. Also, if you haven't done so, please go check out my second channel, Fist Truck TV, where we're about to wrap up a playthrough of Elden Ring. Getting really close to fighting Millennia, so that ought to be spicy. Build number 1, my first build. A whole 9 months ago, I was but a naive young boy playing through Elden Ring. Dual wielding is cool, and I'll talk about it later. Also, some things don't make sense. It was my first build, but I'll also talk about that later. I tried to come as close as humanly possible to my first build, faults and all. Nonetheless, it's simple, but it's fun. Also, for all of the builds in this video, whenever I speak about stats, it's going to be assuming that you're at level 120. I feel like this goes without saying, but if you don't like it, feel free to change it. Step 1, and possibly the quickest step 1 that actually involves equipment ever. We'll be getting the Tree Sentinel Halberd, which should be found off this Tree Sentinel that's right in the beginning of the game. Notorious for tossing salads and fucking shit up. You could just smack him right now, or probably wait. Step 2, we'll be getting the Claw Talisman, because we're going to be spamming the ever-living fuck out of jumping attacks. That can be found inside of Stormvale Castle, or on top of it. I don't know, you gotta climb a ladder, there are birds up there. We've been over this before. Step 3, we'll be getting the Bull Goat Talisman. It's located inside this one cave that's over in Dragon Barrow. If you happen to come here really early, be wary of the bear. The bear's big, the bear's scary, and the bear will absolutely fuck you up. Nonetheless, this talisman gives us a shit ton of poise, and on my first playthrough, I thought that would be something incredibly important to have. Step 4, we'll be getting the Black Gargoyle Halberd, because yes, this is a dual-wielding build. Prior to Elden Ring coming out, the only thing I really knew about the game was that they were bringing back one of the sickest features from Dark Souls 2, which was actual, proper, cool, and interesting dual-wielding compared to the boring shit that they gave us in Dark Souls 3. Nonetheless, this can be found off the Black Gargoyle that's chilling in front of the Bestial Sanctum over in Dragon Barrow. You know, the one that's just kind of waiting for you to pop off so he could dunk on you and your mother. Step 5, we're getting the Big Jar Talisman from the biggest jar over in Caelid. Slap the shit out of his monkey so we could get on with our day. This is just a super Havel's ring. By the end of this build, things are going to get pretty heavy, so this is going to help keeping us under that 70% equip load. Step 6, we'll be getting the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman because it gives us an absolute shit ton of defense, even though, to be honest, I feel like it's kind of pointless once you get really late in the game, which conveniently is where we could find this thing, in the Room of Absolute fucking Cancer within the Halig Tree. You have to drop into this room through a hole in the roof. Once you land, you're just gonna get absolutely bombarded by a bunch of big and small centipede men. It really fucking sucks. I was just take this moment to point out once again why I really hate this area. Is because any part that's difficult is just annoying as shit. Now the playstyle for this build is that we're gonna spam the ever-living fuck out of jumping attacks. In this game, if you're dual-wielding two generally slow-ass weapons, is pretty much the most effective way to get damage done. However, with that being said, the running R1 is a pretty quick poke, and I feel like it does help a lot with some bosses. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage of it, but it does help with Millennia. Now for a first build, I feel like it comes together pretty nicely. However, If some things seem like they don't make sense, here's why. Now you may have noticed that I didn't speak about armor, and that's because fashion souls. On my first playthrough, I want to look regal as a motherfucker, and I feel like from the back I achieved that with Radahn's helmet and the veteran's armor. However, from the front, it's armor. Also, it was my first playthrough and I was playing things by ear. Hell, I didn't even know that there was an armor that would make your jumping attacks do more damage. But with that being said, even if I had known, that shit looks whack or weak. Now for the stats, we're gonna have 50 vigor, 40 endurance, 47 strength, 14 dex, and 22 faith. Now regarding dex and faith, that's just to meet the weapon requirements. Now as for strength, both of these weapons scale the most off of strength, so that's where I pumped all the points, because on your first playthrough you don't have all the points in the world, and it helps a lot to just focus them. And that about sums up the build that I used to first play through this game. If you happen to try it out, let me know what you think. I know it's pretty straightforward. A lot of my builds I think are pretty straightforward, as I really just like playing melee, and that about encompasses most of it. Build number 2. This is the flashy one, the one that's most likely to be cosplayed or be inside of an anime. This one's for all of you that don't get any bitches, hence why I made it. Step 1, we'll be getting the Carrion Filigree crest, which can be bought off the giant blacksmith over in Liurnia. Now we're getting this because we're going to be using an Ash of War, and the Ash of War we're going to be using is kind of pricey. I didn't really put a lot of points into the mine thing, so I figured this will give us the most mileage for it, because when we can use it, we will use it. Step 2, we're getting the Raven's Feathers thing, I forget the name of it. It's that armor that makes your jumping attacks do more damage. I am reusing the footage from the last build guide I did, because I didn't feel like going inside of this cave again. Step 3, we'll be getting the Leonard helmet. I know that's not what it's called, and I always forget the actual name, which is a damn shame because it's actually my favorite helmet in the game. I didn't mean to rhyme there, and I really fucking hate that I did. Anyway, it's just the fact that it's like a bowl with the hat. I dig the vibe, even though it makes you look stupid no matter what armor you wear it with, including the armor it's intended to be worn with. Step 4, we'll be getting the Alexander Jar Shard, which I'm aware I keep fucking up the name of. Now it's time to kill our boy Alexander, except at this point, I don't even keep doing the side quests. I keep reusing the same footage, but just having to watch it makes me annoyed. Step 5, we'll be getting our weapon, Loretta's War Sickle. The Ash of War is really fucking cool. It's that 2-hit thing where you swoop up and then come back down. It takes really long to do. It's a prime example of an Ash of War that's 100% form over function, but we're gonna use it. Anyway, he got this off of fighting the Loretta, not to be confused with Loretta. This one's over in the Halig tree. Pretty alright fight, if I do say so myself. I like the fight. A good middle of the road, slightly above middle of the road fight. I dig it. Step 6, and the last step of this build, and I am 100% going to be ripping this from the last build guide that I did. We're getting the Ryan or Rotted, whatever it may be, Wing Sword Insignia. Once again, doing Millicent's questline sucks. Not that I did it again, because once again, I am reusing footage, just like how the way I'm reusing the dialogue that is coming out of my mouth. I know this one might seem a bit weird, but I'm going to get into it when I talk about the playstyle for the build, which is right now. So the playstyle for this build is that you're going to want to try to be as aggressive as humanly possible. The thing I like about Loretta's War Sickle, and I could be tripping, this could be placebo, though I'm pretty sure it's not, is that it swings a bit faster than the other halberds do. So you'll usually be able to fit in more hits than you normally could with it, which will allow us to take advantage of the Winged Sword Insignia. Also, I didn't make a step about this, but you're also getting the Claw Talisman. I didn't want to repeat myself that hard, considering that there's a step in the previous build about that specific thing. Also, trying to find out the perfect timing for the Ash of War is really rough. The thing is slow as shit, but if you can pull it off, it does a lot of damage. Also, the other thing that kind of sucks is that we're made out of paper, though I'm sure that me playing on New Game Plus 8 for the purpose of testing this build doesn't help with that either. As for the Leonard helmet, you can wear whatever helmet you want. I also wound up using the Malekith arms and legs, though once again, the only part of the armor that really matters is the chest. I wanted to use the Leonard helmet because I like the way it looks. Now on to the stats. We have 50 vigor, 20 endurance, 30 strength, 32 dex, and 31 int. So 20 endurance is just so we can pretty much be able to wear this stuff, which is really dumb considering that the helmet, I believe, weighs as much as everything else in this build. In fact, I'm going to check real quick. It does in fact weigh more than the armor, which is also called the Raptor's Black Feathers. That's news to me. This is probably the most min-maxy shit I think I've ever done on this channel, but I was trying to mess with all the permutations and alterations and whatever it may be of the numbers, granted being at level 120 and having 50 vigor and all that kind of stuff. But the amount of points we had left over, by a difference of, I believe, either 1 or 2. This gives us the most damage. The combination of 30 strength, 32 dex, and 31 int. Tested, science, kid tested, mother approved, Bill Nye the Science Guy, in your ass. Build number 3, FMF. Is that the famous American DJ Funkmaster Flex? No, it's Fat Motherfucker. This was supposed to be the 3rd build for this video, and I got it all together. Got all the stats written down. You can even see the entire build right here if you ever wanted to fuck with it. But then I kind of went back to the drawing board because I saw the potential of making something ever so slightly out there. Not to mention that I'm ever so slightly getting tired of retreading the same talismans and whatnot over and over again. Granted, I really just do like doing melee and only melee, so this is to be expected. But there's still so much more to that in this game that I haven't touched. So with all that being said, keep your eyes peeled because I'll eventually be doing a fat roll build. Essentially a build where I'm always keeping my equip load above 70%. How to fat in Elden Ring. Coming to a theater near you. Probably 2023. Alright, and that about wraps things up for this video. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. Speaking of wrapping things up, we're pretty much wrapping this year up. I think this might be the last build guide for the year. Don't hold me to it. Maybe there'll be another one. Who knows? But one thing I am finding pretty tempting is to make my own end of the year awards thing, because seeing the Game Awards stuff, it got me thinking. Not that I'm trying to make a statement or anything, but I want to have fun with it. I want to put my own brand of dumb on it, so keep your eyes peeled for that, probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Anywho, once again, I've been Fist Truck. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, or don't. And until next time, don't forget to always wipe before you shit.